What's good, superstars? Back with another VV video. You got Superstar Joe. You got Superstar Doctor of Stuff. How's it going, Doctor of Stuff?
Good, man.
Oh my God, he was ready. He picked the right direction. He knocked my head off. Man, thank you for coming on the channel. I'm about to bring up your stuff here, but guys, if you haven't already, don't forget, become a superstar. Smash the subscribe button down below. Hit the bell notification. You know whenever we post, whenever we have great guests like Doctor of Stuff on the channel. If you haven't seen him already, he's been all over YouTube. The last couple of weeks, I've been learning your opinions on a bunch of stuff, and I reached out because I wanted to definitely get you on and share you with the rest of the people, because maybe some people haven't seen you or heard of you. So I think it's always nice to hear different opinions, of course. So that's what we try to do here. You can also become a VIP member, $2.99 a month. Hit the join button underneath the video. Star next to your name, star in the universe, end of every month, first dibs on merch. We got drop spreadsheets, price prediction spreadsheets. It's a bunch of good, fun stuff. We got more coming to that program if you want to join it. And this is how you can follow us: Twitter, Instagram, TikTok, Discord in the description. And we also have a PO box. You want to send us something, become a Superstar Hall of Famer. So if you want to follow this nice gentleman over here, you can follow him on Twitter, at Doctor of Stuff. I don't know how you got that handle, by the way.
It is a long story. It was kind of a joke that I set it up like that, and it was only supposed to be for like a week or something. But that's when I started kind of getting into the VV thing and crypto Twitter and all that. So I started doing that, and then people started just calling me Doc or Doctor of Stuff, and I'm like, I feel like if I change it now, everyone will forget who I am. I have to like start over. So I've just kept it. Yeah. I mean, there's definitely more to the story. We can talk afterwards if you want about it.
For sure, yeah. So definitely go give him a follow. I mean, he's got great takes. He's it looks like you do a lot in the crypto sphere, not just VV stuff, right? Am I correct?
Yeah, heavily into crypto and NFTs. Yeah.
So if you're into that stuff, you want to learn a little bit more of other things, he's got that. But he also has a YouTube channel. He's got 6 videos right now. Are you going to be bringing out more videos? What's the plan?
Yeah, I started it. Look, I mean, I think my first video was back in like August, and I'm like, I'm going to do this. Like, I'm super stoked. And then I'm like, but I'm kind of a perfectionist. So then I would make these takes, and I would be like, oh, I messed up. I got to redo it. It would take me like 5 hours to do a 15-minute video. Yeah. And I'm just like, oh, this is exhausting. I got so much other stuff in my life. It's kind of taken over, but I do want to get back into it. And I definitely am working on a cadence with the wife on, once a week, setting apart some time, not 5 hours worth of time, and working on that and putting out more content.
There you go. And the more you do it, the more comfortable and the faster, the more efficient you'll get. So I'm going to subscribe right now. And that means that you have to start putting out videos so that I have more stuff to watch from Doctor of Stuff.
I love it. I love it.
Giving you the pressure. You're also doing a roundtable stuff with, I've seen you with Randy Chavez, Crypto Rain. Who else is in that group that you guys are doing?
You got Jordan Riz, you got Asian Dan, you have Danny the Bull, and then we've had like Lori Brenner / the Queen's Court on before, and we are working on and potentially, so we do it every Monday and at like 6 p.m. Eastern Standard Time, right? And we're hoping that this coming Monday, Reese might be popping in. Oh. For half of it. So no promises. Like that's what I've been told is going to happen, but things come up and things, but if we can't get him on, then we will get him on eventually. But yeah, once a week, we kind of talk about everything that's going on right in the VV and the ecomi verse. So
it's fun. It's like watching, like when I'll watch you guys like on working out or something like that, and I'll have it on in the background. And it's just fun to like, it's like you're with your buddies and you just hear them like talking about something, because not everybody can go talk with their friends about this type of stuff. Not everybody's into it where you live. So to have you guys doing that, I think it's awesome. And I think you've had Kay on as well, right?
Oh my gosh, yeah. Hello, Kay's been on. He would have been on earlier, but he was out in Japan traveling around when we first started and stuff. So yeah, he comes on when he can. It just depends on people's schedules.
Yeah, meeting of the minds though, and it's good because like one of you might not be there, but it doesn't matter. You got the other guys to all fall back on. So definitely go check that out. You guys rotate, I think, where you post it, right? So make sure you're subscribed to all those channels.
Yeah, so everyone's channel except mine, because I accept the fact that I have the lowest subscriber count as I don't put out much content
for now.
For now, but looking to grow that for sure.
Cool. All right. So let's jump into the VV Twitter as we always do. There was a drop today. I don't know. Do you go for all the drops still? What's the plan for you? This Black Panther drop seemed like there was a kind of people on the fence. Some people really wanted it. Some people didn't care. What did you do?
So if if it's not an older comic with in real life high value, I don't go for it on the drop. I will typically go for these, and I'll go for the rares or the ultra rares for the MCP points. But yeah, I've stopped going for things on there. Every once in a while, though, I'm just like, I'm going to go to the Veve Casino. I want to see if I'm going to get something besides Common Gang, right? And that's fun. And every once in a while, I will hit like a secret rare. Well, every once, not very often, but I did hit a secret rare a couple 2-3 weeks ago. You know, it'd been like a day since the drop, and I'm like, I'm just going to hit this and see. And it was a secret rare, so it's fun to kind of do that too, just to get the adrenaline pumping a little bit.
You got the juju on that one for sure.
Yeah, for sure.
Veve came out with an update today. Obviously, they've been updating that Medium article, so I'll pull it out here. But the feature rollout process, obviously, they updated it for February 16th, and they said minor improvements to search. I'm not quite sure what that means. Do you know? Have you noticed anything different? Because I'm seeing the search bar kind of similar to last week.
I have not. I don't know. I don't know what that means. So yeah. I haven't seen. I've checked. Right. I'm like, oh, can I search? Because sometimes, I mean, the search is a lot better, but it's still not.
It's not perfect yet. But I wish they would have clarified a little bit more there. Maybe like this is what we did, or a couple of comics we updated. Like even if it's more generic like that, but it's really hard to understand what that means if you don't notice it right away. The other thing, additional enablers for MCP version 1. Then they said the public-facing feature will be rolled out in line with the new feature rollout. That's the same thing that they copied from the week before, but actually today we've been seeing people entered into the beta testing. So I feel like they should have put that in there, give themselves a little bit more credit, right? Like beta testing invites have gone out today.
Yeah, because I think that's what that means. Additional enablers for MCP version 1. Okay. I think because then I started seeing people are saying, hey, like I got this. Because David Yu on the AMA with Lori or Queen's Court, he said that he got the beta invite. And then Alex said that he got it, so I'm starting to question whether or not that's like random when two people on the team for Veve already have it. And that whether they're beta testers or not, it's fun to kind of see people posting about that. That's exciting.
Yeah, I think they have to get it almost just because they give they know they're going to get honest feedback from the people within the team, and then everyone else, hopefully it's random however they do it. But the other thing that we noticed is something that maybe not too many people are happy about. Something about the wire for the fee for wiring money internationally appears to have gone up from $15 to $30 US. So I know Kay was speaking to it on Twitter. He wasn't too happy, but I don't know. It's something that until we get multiple payout forms, I feel like there's nothing really that you can do because there's no real competition. But maybe when there is that competition, someone asked me actually on Twitter, I responded with this. I said, if maybe when we do get another provider, might be some competition fighting for your money. So hopefully that fee comes down, but we'll see.
Yeah, well, so in the banking world, international wires are around there. They're anywhere from $20 to $35. So I don't think that Veve or Wire is necessarily getting that money. I think that where they do collect most of the fees is from that 10% is where they're getting this. So this just might be a thing with international. That makes sense to me. International wire transfers do cost more than just within the country, within the US. So.
And that's what they say here. They say it's by the bank and it's passed on to the user. So you're right there. Yeah. There's more. If you want to read that, you guys can go click that. It's on the Veve Twitter. We're getting first appearance of Scott Lang, who eventually becomes AntMan. I'm assuming that's decent comic. I've seen some people posting the Go Collect, and it was not that expensive. I don't know how many exist in real life, but I did get a tidbit from one of our comic book insiders. Do you have anything to say about the comic before I get into this?
Yeah, so I know that Marvel has put a lot of emphasis on AntMan. That they made multiple movies with him, and so I think that like I am going for this on the drop. It is an older comic, and I did look at the in real life value, not super high at all. But to me, this is one that if Marvel keeps focusing on AntMan, right, going forward, that it could be something that's more popular down the line. So for me, it's worth it to go to the casino and see what rarity I'm going to get, but then also buy some additional commons.
I love how you say going to the casino. We actually have a video called Veve is a casino or something like that. It's like a couple of months ago, but definitely that's the vibes you get nowadays, at least. So shout out to comic book consultant Matthew Lambie, former Marvel employee.
Wow.
The next Avengers comic book has Wonder Man and Beast discussing why humans idolize superheroes and why they get back home. The Avengers security system trips on them, and they find Scott Lang, AntMan, updating protocols. Then in American Idol style type cut day, the US government limits the number of Avengers to 7. So many are upset when then they are dismissed, and some question why Falcon was kept, while Black Panther and the Guardians of the Galaxy, Black Widow, and Captain Marvel were given walking papers. The villain is a mystery, a guy with a white beard. Dun, dun, dun. That's exactly how he wrote it. So there's a little bit of tidbits. I mean, I didn't know the Guardians of the Galaxy got cut.
Yeah.
So that's cool. I think it's a good read. Like if you actually want to read a story, seems like it's a fun story. And I might just go for it just for the story now that I have Matthew Lambie giving that insight. So really cool.
That's awesome, man. And yeah, I didn't know some of the history of that either. And it would be interesting to talk to the creators and say, why did you cut that? And it might, like, I'm sure that they had kind of polls or something saying at the time, which were the more popular characters. And that can change, right, over time. And maybe Black Widow wasn't very popular at the time, right, compared to some of the ones that stayed on. So yeah, fascinating. That'll be fun to read.
It's going to be cool to see. And you got like a bunch of characters on the main cover there too. So that's always a cool cover when you can see something like that, right?
Yeah.
All right. So another drop today. We had 2 drops today. We had the Black Panther, and then we had the Chucky and Tiffany drop in the afternoon. I feel like a lot of people probably slept on this one. I'm sure it didn't sell out, but it was like 50 gems or something like that.
Yeah. That's pricey. That's pricey.
The cool thing was they're holding knives behind their back. I saw that on Twitter after the fact. So like they all have their hands, and if you spin them around, you'll see the knives. So I thought that was a cool Easter egg.
Oh, that is pretty cool, actually. Yeah, I didn't know that.
Yep. Continuing down the line here, we did get the Medium article for the Lamborghini, and I'm pretty impressed with that. I'm sure you've looked at it already. What did you think about the prices and the mint sizes?
Yeah, so I didn't know what the mint size was going to be, but after the AMA with David Yu, I mean, I responded to the Gale or something where I thought the price was going to be around $80 to $100. After he was like, it's going to be pretty reasonable. I'm like, okay. But so the C70 was really exciting. And then I did a calculation earlier, and after you take out the 90 per rarity and then the additional 70 for the secret rare, I think it's like 6,300 or around there, which still probably going to be hard to get. There's no doubt in my mind this sells out like instantly. Of course. I thought it was weird though that they didn't limit it to 1 per account. I wonder why that was. Like that was interesting to me. Why do you think that happened?
Yeah, I'm not sure either. I feel like this is one where you might want that limit in place just to deter botting and deter any of that stuff from coming back. I'm not sure. I don't know what to think about that.
Yeah, so I'll be trying for a rebound. If I get one on the drop, I'll definitely be trying for the rebound as well, right?
That's true. It brings the excitement back to the rebound, even if you do hit on the drop. So that's fun. So let's just quickly go through it. We got the common. This is actually my favorite colorway of the 4. So I'm happy because, the uncommon. Most likely to get this one if you do land it, but 70 gems, 29.50. We've got the rare, which is the silver. It's 70 gems, 2014. The red one is 70 gems, 1,000. So we drop down in half on the red, and then the green, the lime green, the one that the OG adopters are getting, 70 gems, 640 edition, and the 70 is on top of that, I believe, right?
So you subtract 90 and 70.
Well, it's additional 70, right?
So it's like 480 that are going to be 160, 480 that are actually going to be available to the public.
Really rare, yeah. So that's cool, but I think the price is right. Yesterday we did some speculating. We were looking up the model cars because he mentioned that it would be like in line with that, and we saw the maximum was like 100. So we figured it'd be somewhere between 50 and 100. So we're close. So that's cool to see. And the detail, if it is anything like the one on the Lambo site, this is exciting. I can't wait to see them in the vault, especially the hands of the Vaultaholics. Those guys are crazy.
Oh, they're so good.
Yeah.
So here's a good question for you on that, though, because I've seen some people think that they might not be drivable, but I'm pretty sure, David, you said that they are. That
they got to be. They got to be drivable.
There's no doubt in my mind that they're like, I would willingly put money if someone wanted to bet me that they are drivable, like as soon as you get them. So
yeah, if they're not drivable, that's going to be some pretty big blowback, I think.
Yeah.
I think.
Yeah. Sure.
So I don't know. We didn't get drivable T-Rex though, but we'll see what happens.
Yet.
Exactly. They're working on it. And then we got the animations for the princess cards. I think these are dropping tomorrow, right? Friday, tomorrow.
Yeah, tomorrow.
So pretty cool. Not my thing. I think it's really, really expensive. 40 gems for a little card. I did a little comparable yesterday. You can buy like the castle, like massive physical castle pop out card for like $20. So I feel like the price might not be right here. Not sure what'll happen, but they're pretty limited.
Yeah.
All right. So back over to our Twitter. This was one of my favorite posts of the day. You got Tiffany and Chucky as David Yu and Veve Magic. Thanks, courtesy of Silicon Secure. He also made one that was animated. If you want to go find that one, they're singing the song. It's actually hilarious. I didn't want to tweet it out again. I already knew Veve Magic was getting lots of love on this already, so I didn't want to make her too embarrassed or anything like that. But shout out to her. She's been a great sport about it, and it's been fun watching them troll each other back and forth on Twitter. Also, shout out to Hanano. He's got part 2 of episode 4 with Veve Arcade on the Real Uncommon podcast. So go check that out when it comes out soon. Mitchell Locklear got the Juju today. He ended up with the Seeker Rare of the Black Panther. So, I mean, the Juju is still flowing for Mitchell. Great support of the channel, and you cannot deny keeps hitting. I asked this question. I don't know if you've ever thought this, but I wonder if we get more Simpsons characters on Veve. There's so many characters, and we need some colored Simpsons, I feel like, on this app.
I want Hans Moleman, dude.
That'd be awesome.
Moleman. Yeah, and Barney. That would be amazing, actually. Yeah.
I wonder how they would translate into 3D, I guess, because they're usually always 2D on the screen, but I know there's been action figures or whatever with the Simpsons, so I think they could figure it out.
Oh yeah, for sure.
So we talked about that already. Shout out to Double Quill. She also put out another article. So there's some people who do YouTube, and there's some people who actually write blogs. And I'm trying to push a little bit more of the other types of content as well. Double Quill, also a really big supporter of the channel, but she's doing blogs and they're actually like really cool stories. Actually, she's writing on Medium. So if you guys ever get a chance, go check out her blogs, and they keep posting them out so you guys can find them easily. Fro Ecomi put another poem. I'm pushing for a poem club on the Veve Discord on the side. That they got chess, they've got poker, but they need a poem club so we can snap and do some poem saying out there. I think it's a fun thing. So shout out to Fro for continuing to do that. Evolved even jumped on it. So you guys got to get involved in the poems. Really, really fun. What else we got here? Quid's doing a drop. I don't know what it's going to be, but I had to post about it because it's Interstellar Reality, and it's just like on brand. So I'm curious to see what they come out with. I'm always looking at other projects to see if they're pushing the envelope. This almost looks like Minecraft, but it's fun to see when other projects push the envelope, because that means that something that Veve could potentially onboard or do or it's just proof of concept, right?
So something with that I want to touch on. So Quid, look, I have in the past have not been a big fan of Quid. I didn't like the CEO and how he was just like ragging on Veve and like other projects. It's just very unprofessional, honestly, in a lot of ways. But I will say that they've kind of turned it around, and some of the things that they're coming out with, like they did Dark Crystal. I'm a big Dark Crystal fan, actually, like of Jim Henson, and I remember watching that as a kid and just being like amazed at that kind of the darkness of those Muppets. And but so Quid is backed by Animoca Brands, and Animoca also does Sandbox, right? So like it'll be interesting, and I just say that because that looked like a like those pixelated, like you said, like Minecraft, right? And that's what Sandbox is as well. And so that'll be interesting to see, like if something happens there. Right?
It's also funny because they put out a tweet the other day that said something about blank verse. So like they're almost hinting at some type of metaverse collab with their next drop. So be curious to see if you're right. Maybe we'll have to come back to it in a couple days whenever they drop this.
Yeah, man, that's interesting.
No, it's a good find by you. Kay actually put this out. I thought this was cool. Speaking of other platforms, Wax is doing a Phygital, and they're actually calling it Phygital as well. So, I mean, it's not Veve exclusive to use that word, I guess. But it's also Ultraman, another IP we have on Veve. And I believe they're like 2D cards, and then if you collect them all or something, I'm not 100% going to the article, but they end up sending you one of these Ultraman, almost Funko type collectible. So go read that if that's something that you're into. But I just found it cool that they're doing fidgetals on other platforms.
Interesting. Yeah. So Wax, man, I bought the freaking Topps baseball cards. I have a ton of them. Like,
oh yeah.
And I was all super stoked. Like, I got a pretty rare. Yeah, like I don't know, but then it just Wax is not. So hopefully it'll be awesome to see them turn it around as well. That'd be great.
They've had the same problems with PR and the CEO speaking out against me. I don't know why these guys do that type of stuff. Like you should want to grow it together. I mean, if you take down the biggest, it's going to take you down at the same time. You need the momentum. You need Veve to carry you at this point, and then maybe you catch up at some point and you can do your own thing. But to try and take down the one leading the way, I think is the wrong approach. But I mean, they have some good IP. They've had, I think, Ninja Turtles on their platform there. So it's been, I think Sean from Comics and Crypto was telling us about that. So I haven't really gotten involved on Wax, but this is interesting to me.
Yeah, no, that is. I'll have to look at that. Yeah.
So this here, Alex, I retweeted this because when Alex posted his stuff about the MCP program and how he was entered into the beta, he showed the whole thing. I said, does it matter? Like, because you're 6 months, because that article says you have points that last for 6 months. So I asked him, I said, does the 6 months start once you do this? Because you can't really spend your points on anything yet. And then he said, point expiration timeline likely won't begin until there's a way to use them. So I'm sure that they will announce the beginning of the point system expiry date. Now, does that mean if you get access to this, you don't click the button until after that, and then you try and wait it out as long as possible, let people spend their points? I'm not sure. Or do they drop it on the same day as a big drop so people are incentivized to use their points right away, right?
Yeah.
I don't know how they're going to do it.
Yeah, that's interesting to think about, actually.
Yeah, we'll see what happens. Someone actually, Meta Mars had a great idea. I don't know if you were paying attention this closely, but David Yu was talking about trolls and how he loves trolling, and then he also mentioned how something from your childhood that you grew up with will be coming to Veve. So Meta Mars put the dots together, thinks we're going to be getting troll toys on Veve. I could see it happen.
Yeah, I was trying to think about all of that. I was like, oh, Thundercats or He-Man, but yeah, trolls. I mean, that's a great connection. I didn't make that connection when I listened to the AMA. So that's an interesting thought.
It'd be funny to see if he's that detailed with his answers.
Answers,
right? Yeah. So here's Kay talking about those fees. More fees for those outside the U.S. Sad face.
And that's tough, right? Europeans, man, they already pay like a high percentage. That conversion rate is pretty brutal for them. So on top of that, plus a 10% cash out, yeah, it starts getting really pricey.
Yeah, exactly. It's something that's a deterrent right now for sure. Also, I don't know if you noticed this, but I put out this little troll tweet. I said I don't have enough gems for Lambo, and everybody's eyes went to the gems. But at the top here, you can see that we got the access to the beta, right? So calculate my points. And it was funny to see the comments coming in. They're like, oh, you don't even have enough points or enough dollars for Lambo. I'm like, guys, that's not what the point of the tweet was.
So you got it then. You're in the beta.
I'm in the beta. Yeah, I got the email and it popped up on my phone. So I ended up posting another thing. So I got the same screen as Alex, what he posted. Yeah. And then so right when you click calculate my points, this comes up. And then it just says calculating. And my phone still says that like that. And then you get an email that says your request to retroactively calculate your points will be processed within 24 to 48 hours. So it takes time to process the points. It's not just instant. And the other thing that I noticed is that when you go on the Veve web browser, and now if I try to go into my profile, it just like crashes, or it said there's like a red bar that came up at one point, but it doesn't load properly anymore. See? So
that's your collector service timeout.
So right? Something's going on. Obviously,
background.
Yeah, something's going on in the background, but that's what happens. I was just trying to show everybody so you guys can know what to expect. I'm sure that they're going to clean that part up, though.
Did you get an email, or did you just open the app and then it was there?
So I saw the email first, but I'm sure it was there because right when I went into the app, it was there at the top. So if any of you, I know a few people who've been invited, and it doesn't seem to have any rhyme or reason, to be honest with you. I don't know. Like, I don't have the most collectibles. I do have a ton of transfer, like not transfer, but like buys and sells. I don't know if that has anything to do with it, but I like that. I'm sure that would cause some kind of load when they're doing their calculation. But there's people with like thousands of collectibles and that I know haven't gotten in yet. So
Yeah.
I don't know what the requirements were. It must be random to some degree, at least.
Interesting.
So we'll keep you updated as it goes. Shout out to Smells Fun. He made a Veve car. I thought that was cool. So I commented immediately and I said, "Where is the Superstar Money car?" And he didn't waste any time. He made us a Superstar Money car. I think that should be that should be airdropped to all
That
holders.
is awesome.
Right?
That is actually awesome. I love that.
The best part was the quick turnaround. Like, I can't believe how quickly he did this. It was within like minutes of my request. So shout out to Smells Fun. If you don't know, he does a lot of the Veve merch. Like all those, if you've seen the AC/DC Veve logo t-shirt, that was his design. So he does a bunch of that type of stuff. It's not directly by Veve, but it's one of those where he's produced a lot of quality. And I think he even does Veve Magic's merch. I think that's another one of them. Also, Raw in English, I skipped over it here, but he put out another music video. These things are really catchy songs. Like every time that one pops up, I like to post it because they just get stuck in my head, and I don't want to be the only one singing the songs. I want people to know what they are. And then the winner of the day is Ohm Dog. I put out the tweet. This was one of the replies to the first tweet where I said, "I don't have enough money for a Lamborghini." He said, "I can give you something much more valuable than a Lamborghini: knowledge." And if you've been on YouTube, you guys have seen the advertisements, and just it made me die of laughter. So shout out to Ohm Dog.
That is awesome.
Yeah,
it's funny.
Also, another game that I've been looking into, actually, it's Lorcana. It's a trading card game by Disney. It's not yet announced that it will be blockchain based or anything to do with digital collecting, but you got to think in this time of age that, and especially with Disney's involvement now that they're saying they're with Polygon, they have Veve collectibles. I have a feeling that they're going to have some kind of digital ties. It's coming out in the fall, but the gameplay will be released in the spring. That's what this video is announcing. So I've been tracking Disney Lorcana. I'm going to keep bringing up updates on the video just because I want to learn about it. Even if it ends up being a tabletop collectible game, it's still Disney, still massive IP, and I'm curious to see where it goes. And it's early, right? So it's something maybe people can get into before it explodes, if it explodes. So that is all the news. There was a lot of news today, a lot of stuff happening. But I want to talk to you about a couple things. So obviously we were hinting at I guess we were talking about Laurie Brenner's Queen's Court space with David. There was also another podcast with Matt Gondek interviewing David. So he's been in the media the last couple of days, which is cool because we hadn't heard from him in a while. But there was a lot of a couple topics that he was touching on that a lot of people were wondering on. And I'm not sure that we got the answers that we expected or wanted on a few of them. So I'm going to bring them up. I want to hear your opinions on it, and then we'll go from there.
Yeah.
So the first one is the SpiderMan. Obviously, big topic in Twitter. A lot of people wondering. Obviously, Omi Daily Burn did a video showing them going into these almost custodial wallets that we eventually saw Obi-Wan's going into earlier this year when they did that drop. So it was kind of weird that they only had common Spider-Man and then they only had like this Obi-Wan, which also had like issues on the drop. People weren't getting them delivered or something was happening that was really, really weird. So Laurie got the courage, asked David the question directly.
Yeah.
And, I mean, I know how that gets because we've obviously, you mentioned you're going to have Reese on. It's a little bit intimidating when you got to ask some of these questions with them directly speaking to you, but shout out to her for going through and asking the community questions.
Shout out. Yeah.
So what did you think of his answers to the Spider-Man wallet question?
Well, it makes sense to a certain extent. Like if it was, so this is what I didn't understand even from his answer, right? It would make sense if they took over those wallets and they're just like, okay, Veve has control of these wallets now because we shut him down and we gave him a notice saying, hey, you've got to prove that you're human, that you're not a bot, and KYC, and then they just didn't touch it and no one's touched it for a while. So then they're like, okay, we're going to move it into our control. But like you talked about the Obi-Wan, like I don't understand. So either there were certain bot accounts that were still active that Veve didn't have control of that minted the Obi-Wan. So they didn't do anything since the Spider-Man drop. then minted the Obi-Wan, but then Veve took the Obi-Wans from those wallets and gave them to the people who minted it off the drop. And so there's two things that I don't understand how or why that happened, and that wasn't explained. And that's still a big question mark for me. But even if, like, the other issue is now they're not the original holder when minting off the drop, right? And how disappointing is that? Now the metadata is going to show that you're not the original owner, even though you minted it from the store, and like that's not okay. And so even if it was the bot thing, that still doesn't explain why the Obi-Wans went to those wallets and then to those people. And I wish, but yeah. So she only asked. I mean, she did bring up the Obi-Wan, but didn't follow up with that one. So I appreciate that she asked the question, and it is weird that there was like 17,000, but we are all very aware that there were bots way before January, in December, right? Like that time frame, that there were bots going on. And when you aggregate, I think Only Daily Burn had said like 250 wallets, right? But even still, like that is a ton of SpiderMans between those 250 wallets. So I wish that they had just gone over it all, because it still leaves some questions in the mind. And sunlight is the best disinfectant, right? So you get people now, they got part of an answer, but it's not the full answer. So now they're speculating more, right? And then there's going to be more concern, and they're going to have to address it again. Yeah,
it's true. And then it never gets swept on. Like, it's never out the way. It just keeps. I actually didn't even think about being the original minters. That is something that I'm sure a lot of people are bothered by. But I mean, I was following his answer. He was saying that they collected from the bots. That's what happened. I didn't even think of the Obi-Wans until after the fact. So I'm even as the AMA is going on, I'm thinking, okay, they collected those ones from the bots. You can't see it because it's pre-IMX, so it just looks like minting, right? You don't know for sure. Then remember, I'm not thinking Obi-Wans. But then she asked him a follow-up question about, what are you going to do with all of these collectibles that are locked in bot wallets? And he says, well, we can't do anything yet. We have to wait until the legal gets back to us. But you just said that you moved all of them from bot accounts into these custodial Veve wallets. So it's something that, like, I don't know. It's still, I don't know if he's 100% sure on exactly what happened at this point. And maybe it's something that he's been told, like, oh, this is what happened, but it's not clear. But that to me was a little bit confusing as well, right? So it is a mystery.
Yeah, I'm wondering if he meant that Veve took over those wallets, not that they moved them, but that they just took control of them and had control. But yeah, like once Javier Torres, right? Like he kind of tweeted that out. Like, so Only Daily Burn talked about it. Javier Torres talked about it too. And that's when I was like, and this was, I don't know, a month ago or something. I said, this is eventually going to become like an issue. Like it's going to rise up the ranks, and it has now. So hopefully that they can provide a little bit more clarification on why the Obi-Wans went from the store to those wallets, then to the owners of the people who minted from the store. Cause that again, maybe it's a glitch, or like, I don't know, but like if it is a glitch, they need to address that. And then also those people now aren't the original owners. And I think that that's an issue that should somehow be addressed.
I wonder if they're gonna blame it on bad actors again or something. Maybe that's the way out of it. I don't know. I'm just trying to think here. It could be, but anyways, moving on. The next thing I wanted to talk to you about was interoperability, and I put a video out 2 days ago about how I didn't really like his answers on Matt Gondek's stream about interoperability. And it's not that I don't agree with them not doing interoperability, which is fine. Like I'm okay with the concept of not doing it, and I understand the reasons maybe why. We're going to get into that. It's more of his reasoning of why they're not doing it that I don't agree with, because I don't think that's the real reasons. I think that there's more reasons behind it. So just to bring up a few of the points that he brought up on Matt Gondek's, and he echoed them again on Lori Brenner's AMA, because she asked him about it. But he says that it's for security reasons, so that people don't send things to the wrong wallet. I've already touched on this. I think if you're going to go that route, you put out a big warning label, like this is what it is. You have the option to keep your stuff on the app. The minute you say I'm taking it out, you put a big banner that says anytime that something happens, too bad, you're on your own, and you eliminate that problem. I feel like imitation. My thing with the imitation was you have a bunch of imitators in most collectible spaces. Anything that is very popular IP, you're going to get fake Pokemon cards. You're going to get fake Nike shoes. You're going to get fake a bunch of things that people want. People are going to always try to imitate that, regardless of what you do, right? So, I mean, by keeping them on the app, the one thing that I think is the reason is you're getting the fees from every transfer. I mean, I'm sure that IMX, I think HRO might have this built into it where they have some kind of royalty, but I'm not sure if it's built to the point where they can do it for Veve yet. I don't know if you know more about that.
Yeah, so it would be a smart contract that's written, right, to basically say anytime that this is transferred. But the problem with it is if there's more marketplaces than IMX, and this is where I don't know, this is where Hello K could definitely help with, potentially answering things. But, is a smart contract that it only works when you're interacting with the IMX marketplace, or can you implement a smart contract that's tied to the collectible, that no matter where it trades, they're getting that royalty? And that might be part of what they're doing, right? So I mean, I'm sure that Disney is not a fan of OpenSea, that they're allowing all that. And it's real quick side story we talk about. So I didn't really know, like I knew Nike shoes and things were a thing, but like I lived in Spain for a while, and I like this little city called Ceuta, which is on the tip top of Africa, right? I was there for about 6 months, and like I went to go buy some batteries for, like, I think it was a CD player at the time. Yeah, this was a while ago. But like I put it in, and like after an hour, the brand new batteries, like it stopped working. And I was like, what was going on? I just bought these brand new Duracell batteries, right? And I pulled them out, and it was like Duracell with an S. And I was like,
you bought imitation batteries.
That was so hard. I was like, well played, right? Like,
you're not going to Duracell and complaining, though, right? You know what I mean? That's my point.
True. So back to that, though, I agree that I think that they're waiting to ensure that, I mean, because that's one of the selling points to all of these major IPs is, hey, you're getting royalties. Every time this switches hands, you're getting royalties. You take it off platform, and if that disappears, what's their incentive, right? So they're like, well, keep it on here until we can figure this stuff out. So, and David did talk about other platforms. And so whether that's, there's that Blur, marketplace, or is it not so rareable? There might be other, or the Amazon. So Amazon is working on an NFT marketplace as well, right? So they might be in talks with that. But here's the problem. We can sit there and question. We can be like there's definitely more to this answer, but they're in NDAs. So I think that sometimes the best answer might be to say, I can't talk about it. Like, there's an NDA, and that's all I can say. And then people are like, okay, there's an NDA, right? But what happens is when you give us a half truth or just like a half answer, people are going to continue to speculate and just instead of saying, look, things are in the works, can't talk about it because of an NDA. Boom, done.
I love it, because you know what? That also kind of proves the title of this video. I mean, maybe these big IPs actually own Veve already. Like, they're running the show. You got Disney probably saying, don't put our stuff on IMX. Don't take it out of your ecosystem. We want every single penny, every single fee we can get. It might not be Veve who's leading the ship on this. So at the end of the day, all the decisions are being made by these big licensors. Maybe they're the ones who are actually running Veve. Maybe they own Veve, right? So that's how we got to that title. But I agree with you. I think there's easier ways to answer some of these questions. Maybe not giving the full truth or giving part truths always leaves it open for interpretation and further questioning. But if you put it at a full stop, say this is what it is, we can't talk about it, end the story, right? So yeah. I think we touched on a lot of stuff today. Hopefully you guys enjoyed the video. I've really appreciated having you on, Doctor of Stuff. It's been like I said, I reached out to you because I really appreciate your opinion on the roundtable discussions, and I've obviously loved your Twitter page here as well. So guys, make sure you are following Doctor of Stuff on Twitter. Great takes, and obviously more than just Veve out there. So you can see he's got broadside in his profile. So he's covering it all, and it's good. It's good when you see people doing more than one project, because they understand things from more than one perspective, and they see new things from each one of these projects. So it's cool when you see people who are not just single focused on one thing, because you got an opinion from the outside as well, right?
Yeah, well, Superstar Joe, I love being on the channel. I was so pumped when you reached out and were like, "Hey, like we need to do this." I was like, "Absolutely." And I just want to say, I always end with this, right? Like, as someone who was like, "Oh, I'm going to start my YouTube channel," and realizing the work and time and effort that goes into that, the least that you could do, hit the like button and subscribe button, right, to Superstar Joe's channel. Become one of their superstar members as well. Like, I just think that's awesome. And it's a great way to support these content creators, right? That they do all the work, they do all this research, they bring on guests or whatever, and they have these conversations and people learn from that. And I think that that's valuable. And to hit the like or subscribe button does not take much. So I'd love if you guys did that and supported the Superstar channel for sure.
And at the same time, guys, join me in a standing ovation for Dr. Stuff for coming on, giving the great alpha opinion. And we love having it. We're going to have you on again for sure. I mean, it's been a fun time. And if you haven't already, like he said, become a superstar, smash the subscribe button down below, hit the bell. You can also become a VIP. And guys, we will see you in the next one. I love you.
Peace out.
Bye.